After the characteristic, because it happened on our previous trip from Mumbai to Udaipur, but uncalled for plane delay of 2 hours, we eventually arrived at this magical part of the world. The taxi drive to our guest house was typical for Rajasthan, hot and dusty, but oh so pretty as we bathed in the Indian sunset.
Oh no, you knob. I thought so.
No, it was when I got that message.
Oh.
It stopped
Okay.
filming.
Now it's just recorded me calling you a knob.
Yeah, nice for posterity. I can use this to I can use this to blackmail you.
I think this counts as friendly banter. We'll start again.
Okay, carry on.
We've been in Udaipur for all of about 5 minutes, and now this is our first traffic jam on what alleges to be a freeway. But yeah, this is pretty much what passes for freeway driving in Rajasthan. The last time we were here, we learned that this is kind of par for the course. And so you might be wondering why we have subjected ourselves to this, which all seems pretty bleak and dusty and, shall we say, shitty. Yes, I think we can say shitty. All will be made abundantly clear when we get to where we're going, which is decidedly unshitty. But we'll take another little video when we get there.
I think we're getting a little bit closer to Mewari. We're starting to see glimpses of the lake.
And here is where it starts looking a lot less shitty.
Here's our
Here
bridge.
we go. This is why people come to Udaipur. For that.
We arrived at Mewari Hotel and promptly, after a very quick shower, settled in on the rooftop to enjoy a slightly cooler evening air whilst being entertained by the nightly fireworks on display during the marriage season. Salim and his wife made us the most delicious dinner. We were in heaven. Udaipur is also known as the City of Lakes, or the most romantic city in India. It has definitely wormed its way into our hearts. Both of the times that we have visited this city, Ed and I have discussed the fact that we could easily see ourselves living here. It may still come to pass. Here is a quick pan around from the rooftop of the lovely Mewari villas. It's quite peaceful, even though the main thoroughfare runs just down there between us and the water. After a hearty breakfast of honeyed pancakes with banana, we decided to take ourselves off to hear the whispers of people who occupied these streets through the ages, witnesses to the ever-changing fortunes of the rulers of Mewar. A somewhat chaotic but luckily quite short walk from Mewari Villa stands the majestic city palace, one of the largest palace complexes in Rajasthan. The building was started by the ruler Maharana Uday Singh II when he declared Udaipur to be the new capital of the Mewar people, and over a period of 400 years, the successive rulers added on to the palace until it became the monumental structure that it is today. It took us a good number of hours to work our way through the various sections, gaping at the incredible views of the city and the surrounding lakes, as well as the ornate structure itself, with its stained glass windows, golden inlays, and dazzling tile work. We did have a private titter to ourselves when we saw the mirrors on the ceiling, and then came the pink champagne on ice. Just kidding, but you're welcome for the earworm. Sharing is caring.
This is where the key idea of the mirror on the ceiling came from.
I am filming.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Needing a few moments to gather ourselves after that nostalgic tour, we chilled at a rooftop restaurant before heading off to the ropeway, which would take us up onto the ridge of the surrounding hills to watch the sun setting over Lake Picola. Ed was quite relieved to see that it was a cableway and not an actual rope. How beautiful is this? The island that you can see there is Jagmandir Island, and the other one that will come into view on your right is the Taj Lake Palace. Both of these island palaces are now used as top-end, rather exclusive hotels. We loved it at the top of the hill, but we were starting to get a little bit hungry. So we had a thrilling tuk-tuk ride back to Mewari, where we were once again served the most delicious Indian dishes while we chillaxed on the rooftop. On our 5th day in India, we hired a delightful guide who encouraged us to do a day trip to Ranakpur Temple via Kumbhalgarh Fort, which is also known as the Great Wall of India. This fort was used as a place of refuge by rulers of Mewar in times of danger, and the fort wall extends over 38 kilometers. This makes it the second longest wall in the world, until Trump builds his. The trip took us on a triangle route through rural Rajasthan, with each leg being about a 2-hour drive. Ranakpur is an incredibly beautiful Jain temple that has 1,144 marble pillars that were painstakingly handcrafted over a period of 30 years. The construction of the temple took 50 years to complete. After a few hours of oogling, we eventually decided to leave because the priest wanted to bless us for a small fee. Back at base camp, I got a henna tattoo done. I'd been waiting for this for a while. While the sun was setting over the lakes and Ed was having a bit of a cat nap, I took a few photos and watched our dinner being prepared. I'm still a bit shy to ask if I can participate or help. Maybe next time. The next day, we were up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to tackle the mish-mashing footpaths and alleyways of Udaipur in search of 1,000,007 saris to take home with us. The traffic in Udaipur is something else. This is the main road in Old Udaipur, the main footpath, bike path, camel path, elephant path, tuk-tuk path, etc., where a vast array of vehicles share the space with you. This is where you walk, drive, ride, cycle, skip, hop, jump. We spent most of the morning meandering through all the little side alleys and back streets, popping into all the sari shops. It was a lovely experience, and we were mostly left to our own devices. Whilst people were super curious about us and we were the recipients of a lot of stares, we weren't hassled on the streets. It was quite refreshing. I found a shop that sells sweeties, and we got a pile of different burfi. Nom 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 nom. I decided that it was time to stop torturing Ed with all the sari stops, so we set off to find a pretty place to have a drink. So, being the brave little bunnies that we are, we wandered across a footbridge into an area where we hadn't been before, and it was really lovely. It had different vibe. It seemed to be more Lani. We found a very fancy hotel that didn't kick us out, so we hot-footed it up onto the rooftop balcony, and with the city palace as our backdrop, we spent an hour or so soaking up the essence of Udaipur. I drank pina colada without getting caught in the rain. You're welcome. And Ed had his obligatory mixed masala. Wait a minute. Let me interject quickly. It has come to my attention that I have failed to explain the story behind Ed's mixed masala. Do you remember that cute little rooftop restaurant where we chilled after the city palace tour? Well, whilst there, we had a drink and a quick bite to eat, and when the bill came, we noticed that there was an item on it that we had not ordered, and the Kingfisher beer that Ed had imbibed was not on the bill. So we made inquiries and found out that, for all the reasons you would imagine, the beer was labelled as a mixed masala. And so it came to pass that all beer drunk by Ed shall henceforth be called mixed masala. We did the obligatory boat ride around Lake Piccola, which affords you the opportunity to see some of the more inaccessible buildings up close and personal. the City Palace, the Taj Lake Palace, Jagmandir Lake Palace Island. Here are all the saris that I bought. Aren't they so pretty, all sparkly and shiny? That evening, being our last in Udaipur, we had to go and watch the dance show, which is set in a magnificent old building, and the dancers perform traditional dances from all around India. The folk music and swirling, twirling bright colors can be mesmerizing. You will also get a chance to see a really great puppeteer. The whole show is a fabulous cultural experience and an absolute must-do when visiting Udaipur.